Hi, Shane here. You're watching Sam for God, and this is Mark. Check her out.
So hi guys, how are you doing? Yesterday on Sunday, the 8th of April 2018 was the Olivier Awards. And if you don't know what the Olivier Awards are, they're basically the biggest theatre awards show in the UK. It's the equivalent of the Tony Awards on Broadway in New York in America. And as a big theatre fan, for me every year is something that I look forward to, something that I really care about, something that I enjoy talking about and sharing my opinions on. And for the past 7 years, every year I've made a video talking about the Olivier Awards after they've happened. Apart from the past 2 years, I started doing this in 2011. That's right, I've had this channel since 2011, actually since 2009, but you know, the first Olivier Awards video that I made was in 2011. I made one in 2012, one in 2013, 2014. I think I did one in 2015, but then last year in 2016, for some reason I just didn't make one. Probably because I was just very busy. I still shared my opinions and my thoughts on Twitter and on social media and other places. But this year I thought, let's go back to basics. Let's go back to 2011 Sam for God and talk about the Olivier Awards and my thoughts on it and about the winners and the nominees and everything that happened. Now I was very lucky this year because I actually was invited to go and watch the Olivier Awards in a membership club in Covent Garden called the Hospital Club. I'd never heard of it before, but apparently it's a place for media people, theatre people mainly, and just, yeah, people of the West End, I guess. I was told in the email that it's the only place in London, in the UK, in the world where you can actually watch the Olivier Awards live, apart from obviously being at the Royal Albert Hall and seeing it live, like, properly, which you never know. One day I might get to do that. I'm very stubborn and I want to wait until I actually get invited one day to go to the Olivier Awards. I know that it's possible to buy tickets and stuff and, you know, watch it in that way, but I don't know, I just want to wait until I get invited one day. It might never happen, but if it does, at least I'll be happy that I've achieved something. Anyway, this whole Hospital Club situation was a little bit weird though, because obviously I was invited because of my YouTube channel, because of my social media, and obviously I was very thankful to have gotten the invite, and my friends Rukai and Olivia, you guys might know as well, they've got vlogs and like blogs and stuff, they were also there. And obviously we thought, all of us, that the main reason I guess that we're invited to go and watch the Olivier's live is that we'd be able to live tweet or like talk about it live and like, you know, basically social media, that's our jobs. However, when we got there, we got told that we couldn't take any photos or videos at all in the building. It was on the 4th floor of the club, which was fine. I mean, I was planning on vlogging a little bit, but obviously I was like, that's fine, I can still like tweet about it and still talk about it, that's all good. But then later, when we got upstairs and everything, we got told constantly by many members of the staff that we weren't allowed to use our phones at all. Like literally we were not allowed to even text anyone. We could not use our phones. So like the vlogging, the taking pictures things, I understand, but if the people in that club were on their phones even for like 10 seconds or something, some member of staff would come to them like us and be like, you can't use your phones. This is something that baffled me a little bit. Like, I just didn't understand why, and it's something that I'm low-key a little bit annoyed about, because we got asked to go to this event, to this place, to watch Olivier's live because of our jobs, because of the fact that we talk about theatre on our social media accounts, like on Twitter and YouTube and stuff like that. And for us to then be told that we can't do that at all on one of the biggest nights for theatre in the UK just defeats the whole purpose, in my opinion. I didn't understand why we were there if we couldn't like talk about it. I get the point that obviously we were very lucky that we got to watch it live, but I don't think it was actually as exclusive as they made it out to be, because yes, of course it was the only place where you could watch it live in the UK apart from the Royal Albert Hall, but as far as I'm aware they did broadcast it live on the radio as well, so even if you wouldn't have been able to watch it live, anyone could have at least listened to it live. So it's not like us tweeting about it live would have made any difference really. People would have been able to find out the winners anyway. Like, do you know what I mean? I just found it very confusing. It was my first time at the Hospital Club and it was a beautiful place and everyone was really friendly. It was just a bit annoying that we couldn't use our phones, and it's something that I just didn't understand. My friend Olivia was there last year for the Oliviers as well, and she said that last year it was absolutely fine, and you know, they were very much encouraged to film and take pictures, whereas this year for some reason it was a no phone policy. Okay, so that little rant over, I did still have a good time. I went with my friend Jess, and there's a picture of us. It's one of the very few pictures that we got to take, and it's like we took it literally near the toilets because it was the only place where we were allowed our phones. Sorry about the noise outside, by the way, guys. It's late at night. It's literally the night of the Oliviers. And the problem is, I live in London, because anywhere else in the world, people would be asleep at this point, but nah. In London, there's still cars outside, there's still noise everywhere. It's a city that never sleeps. But anyway, without further ado, I've got a list here on my phone with all the nominees and all the winners from tonight, and let's just talk about it. Okay, so before we even start with the winners and the performances or any of that stuff, let's talk about the host of this year's Oliviers, Catherine Tate. Now, Catherine Tate is a very well-loved comedian, actress, performer from the UK. I saw her actually with David Tennant back in, I believe it was 2011 or something, at the Wyndham Theatre in London. She was performing in Much Ado About Nothing with David Tennant, and she was fantastic in it. She was hilarious. She's a great performer. She seemed like a lovely woman. But, Lord have mercy, firstly, let's talk about her dress. Now, I don't want to sound horrible, but what was that dress? As soon as she came on stage, me and my friend just looked at each other and were like, what the hell is she wearing? I don't know who dressed her, but that dress just was not flattering. It just didn't look great on her. I don't think it was a good dress just generally, and I don't know, I kind of felt bad for her, like, why wear that? You know, there are so many better options. Anyway, she was still funny, everyone still seemed to like her. She started off the ceremony pretty well, but as the evening went on and she had more and more things to say, more and more dialogue and autocues and things like that to read from, it quickly became apparent that she's just not very good at presenting big shows like this. Maybe she was just nervous, maybe she just felt a bit out of her depth, but the amount of times that she messed up was just ridiculous. I mean, the first few times she messed up, it was quite funny, and I give it to her, like, she recovered very well. She's, like I said, she's very funny, she's a very likable person, and like, she's very happy to laugh at herself and her mistakes. But as it went on and on, it just became annoying, and I was just sat there thinking, why did they choose her? She's clearly not good at this job. She was constantly making mistakes, she was constantly having to repeat things, and like I said, everyone makes mistakes, but for a night like this, surely you want someone who has maybe more experience, who feels a bit more confident and comfortable doing such a thing. Obviously, I watched it live as well, so if you guys have watched bits of her presenting maybe online or in the edited version that ITV, I believe, showed, you wouldn't have seen the extent of her mistakes, but watching it live was honestly excruciating at times, and it made me cringe as well. Like, it was just sad. I felt sad. I didn't feel comfortable watching her because I could tell that she wasn't comfortable. She was, like I said, constantly not saying the lines properly and having to repeat herself, and it just felt very awkward and out of place, not gonna lie. Having said that though, like I said, nothing against Catherine Tate personally. I've seen her perform before. She's amazing. She's, you know, like, a very likable. People like her. I just don't think she's gonna be asked to go back next year, and if she does, why? Anyway, let's talk about the important stuff now. So Hamilton obviously was one of the biggest events of the night. Even before the awards ceremony started, people, you know, talked about Hamilton quite a lot, because if you guys didn't know, Hamilton was nominated for 13 Olivier Awards this year, and that's the most amount of Oliviers that any musical in London, in the UK, has ever been nominated for, which is insane. It's a record-breaking event. I didn't think it was going to win all 13 of them. I didn't want Hamilton to win all 13 of them, and it didn't. Spoiler alert, it won 7, which makes me happy because 7 is my favourite number, but it's still, 7's still more than half of, no it's not, it's less than half, lord. It is more than half, it's just over half of the awards that it was nominated for. But yeah, so Hamilton was the first performance of the night, and oh my god, Lord have mercy, I love Hamilton so much. I've only seen it once because it's so bloody hard to get tickets for, but watching the West End cast perform live, they did Alexander Hamilton, the song, and it was just amazing. Like, we were in a room basically at the Hospital Club watching it, and it was a really lovely place. Obviously I couldn't film or take pictures or anything, but it was lovely, and like the atmosphere was really nice as well, because it was full of theatre, like social media people or theatre fans, and yeah, it was just phenomenal. It was a great opening, and the whole cast I absolutely love. Giles Ferreira, who plays Aaron Burr, and what's his name, Jamal something, who plays Hamilton. Unfortunately, when I went to see the show, I mean, I say unfortunately, I didn't actually mind at the time, when I went to see Hamilton back in January, there's a vlog of that if you want to watch it, I didn't get to see Jamal. I saw his alternate, who was fantastic as well, but obviously it was nice to see Jamal, and I'd like to see him at one point. But yeah, the whole team, the whole cast of Hamilton is just phenomenal, and I just love Hamilton. I love the songs, I love everything about it, and it was a great opening. Then they did a few awards and nominations for plays, which unfortunately I'm sad to say I haven't been seeing a lot of plays recently, and I don't think I'd seen any of the plays nominated at all. The one that I really wish I had seen, and I still can because it's still on, is The Ferryman. I've heard really good things about it. My friend Daisy saw it a while ago, she loved it. A lot of people have seen it, a lot of my friends have seen it, and they've loved it. I mean, it's been getting a lot of hype, and yeah, I might still go and see it. And it actually won a couple of awards tonight as well. I think it won Best Screenplay or something, written by Jez Butterworth, who gave a hilarious like winning speech, and like literally his winning speech made me want to go and see the show even more. He was just really funny, and I think it won Best Play as well. I can't remember the name of the director. So clearly it's a very well loved play. If you guys have seen it, leave comments down and let me know what you think of it. I'm not an expert on the plays, especially of the plays that have been out in the past year, unfortunately. This year and for the next foreseeable future, I'm going to try my best to see more plays, because I've seen, you know, I love plays as well. I literally love plays nearly as much as I love musicals in the past few years. I've started to really enjoy some plays. I just for some reason haven't managed to see many. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to skip over most of the play categories because I just don't have much to say because I haven't seen them. But some really well-deserving people won, as far as I could tell, and you know, it was great. I'm happy for all of them. I want to talk about the best new dance production, which is also a category that I don't really know much about because I don't know much about dance. However, I do work at the Royal Opera House, which is home to many incredible ballets and dance numbers. And one of the nominees for the best new dance production was Flight Pattern, which is a ballet at the Royal Opera House, you know, from the Royal Ballet. And I'm lucky to have seen Flight Pattern many times when it was on at the Royal Opera House. Like, obviously I work there as a front of house person, so I'm lucky that I get to see a lot of the productions there. And I really enjoyed Flight Pattern, and haha, it ended up winning Best New Dance Production. The other nominees for it were Goat, Grand Finale, and Tree of Crows, none of which I've seen because, like I said, I'm not like massively into dance or anything. I just see the stuff that's on at my workplace at the Royal Opera House. So I was very happy for Flight Pattern. There was also an award for Outstanding Achievement in Dance, and one of the people nominated in it was Zenaida Janowski for symphonic dances. And Zenaida Janowski is, well, we used to be one of the incredible members of the Royal Ballet at the Royal Opera House, and like I said, again, she's someone that I've seen many times perform, and unfortunately she didn't win, but it was just great to still have her nominated. Francesca Vellici won for Le Sacre du Printemps. Lord have mercy, it's a French thing. She seems very sweet, so there you go. The next category, sorry that I'm looking at my phone, is Best Entertainment and Family. And the categories, or the nominations for this category, were Dick Whittington, which was a panto at the Palladium this past Christmas, and then David Williams's Gangster Granny, Darren Brown's Underground, and then Five Guys Named Mo. So obviously of this list, the only family entertainment show that I'd seen was Five Guys Named Mo, and I really enjoyed Five Guys Named Mo. I found it interesting that they put Five Guys Named Mo under the Best Entertainment and Family category rather than like just Best Musical, because I just, you know, it's a musical at the end of the day, isn't it? I also am sad that Christmasaurus wasn't nominated. I don't know if Christmasaurus would have been eligible to be nominated or anything, but funnily enough, Tom Fletcher from McFly, the author, the writer of Christmasaurus, was the person who presented this award, and Dick Whittington ended up winning, which I'm not really surprised at, because when this panto was on at the Palladium, so many people went to see it and raved about it. My friend Rakaya saw it and loved it. Most people who saw it said that it was the best panto they've ever seen. So yeah, I mean, it's great that a panto has won an award at the Olivier's. The director of it, I believe, in his speech said something about how he never thought like a panto that he's written would ever even be eligible to be at the Olivier's, let alone actually win it. So that's great. I mean, maybe they'll bring it back one day. I'd love to see it. I heard great things about it. Then we've got Best Theatre Choreographer, and the nominations for this were Andy Blankenbuehler for Hamilton, Bill Deemer for Follies, Kate Prince for Everybody's Talking About Jamie, Randy Skinner for 42nd Street, and Christopher Wiggledon for An American in Paris. Now, all of these are very deserving nominees, I would say. For me, I personally really enjoyed An American in Paris' choreography. I'm a huge fan of Christopher Wiggledon generally. I think he's great. His choreography is always astonishing. I see a lot of his work at the Royal Opera House as well. But I mean, 42nd Street has some great dancing. Everybody's Talking About Jamie is great. Follies, fantastic. But the winner for Best Theatre Choreographer went to Hamilton in the end, which isn't surprising at all, and I think it was probably the most deserving one, Andy Blankenbuehler, because the choreography in Hamilton is so unique, and just the movement in general. It's not necessarily even just a dance, it's just the way they move, like the way it's been directed almost. It's just so phenomenal, and if you go and see it, it's just like you don't know where to look at. You want to be able to see everything. Like, I wish I had a million eyes, because there's so much going on and it's so beautifully done, and yeah, it was very well deserved. Then let's talk about Best Sound Design. Now, I'm not gonna lie, sound design is not something that I usually pay too much attention to when I go and see shows and musicals, but having looked at the nominations for Best Sound Design, which are Hamlet, Tom Gibson, Bat Out of Hell, Gareth Owen, Network, Eric Sleichim, and Hamilton, Neveen Steinberg. Obviously, unfortunately, I haven't seen any of these shows apart from Hamilton, but it just made me think a little bit about Hamilton's, because it's the only one I have seen in this category, and I was like, what did I think of the sound design in Hamilton? And thinking back to it, back to January when I went to see the show, I was like, I had absolutely no problem with the sound. Like, the sound was so clear, it was so perfectly done. I could hear everything, and considering Hamilton has a lot of rap in it, it would have been so easy for little bits and bobs to maybe go missing or like not be heard as well or get lost maybe in the sound, but no, I heard everything perfectly clearly and very well, and so for that I wanted Hamilton to win. I felt like Hamilton was very deserving, and Hamilton did end up winning. So great, there you go, second award for Hamilton, well done. Then we've got Best Lighting Design, and the nominees for this were Hamilton, Howell Binkley, Angels in America, Paul Constable, Follies, Paul Constable, wow, well done to him, he's been nominated twice, and Network, Jan Versieveld. Now of these 4 shows, again, I'd only seen Hamilton and Follies, both of which I thought had great lighting, but you know, we have to be honest, like Hamilton's lighting is just something else. I actually really desperately want to go back to see Hamilton, like generally, but also I'd love to see it from the dress circle, because when I saw it from the stalls, which was fantastic. It was great to be so close to the action, but I think with Hamilton, because of the lighting of it and how well and unique that is, it would be nice to see it from the dress circle, because you get to see and notice maybe the lighting a bit more. And obviously, not surprising, but the award for Best Lighting Design did end up going to Hamilton, and I'm very happy about it. That's their 3rd award of the night. Best Costume Design is the next category, and the nominees were Follies, Vicky Mortimer, Dick Whittington, Hugh Durant, 42nd Street, Roger Kirk, and Hamilton, Paul Tazewell. Now, this was a tricky one because Hamilton's costumes are great, but they're quite basic. Like, it's great what they've done with it. It's great that they've managed to, you know, take us back to that era so well, but, you know, nothing that special in my opinion. 42nd Street, the outfits are very extravagant, they're very fun, very glamorous and glitzy. Dick Whittington, obviously I've not seen, and Follies, really good outfits, like again quite glitzy at times, but yeah, great outfits. Basically this category, what I'm trying to say is one that I didn't really have a particular favourite. I was happy for any of them to win. I didn't have much of an opinion on this. Follies ended up winning, which is great, you know, I enjoyed Follies. There's a vlog of that as well if you want to go and check it. Then we've got Best Set Design, and the nominees for that were American in Paris, Bob Crowley, Ink, Bunny Christie, The Ferryman, Rob Howell, and Follies, Vicky Mortimer. And the award went to American in Paris, which is again really good, because An American in Paris is not one of the best shows I've seen. I really enjoyed it when I saw it. Again, there's a vlog of that if you go and want to check out and see my full opinions and thoughts on it. I did really enjoy An American in Paris, but it just wasn't one of the best things I've seen. But one of the things I really enjoyed about it was definitely the set. Like, when I think back to it, I think it was just so immersive and so great in the way they like transformed the stage and the theatre into Paris and France. It was just really beautifully done, so I'm happy that they won. I've just seen Best New Opera Production. Semiramide ended up winning, and Semiramide is an opera that again I had to watch many times at work when it was on at the Royal Opera House, and I don't like opera, guys. I'm not a big fan of opera, and Semiramide is a very long opera, so me and my friend Jess, we both work at the Opera House, and we're just like oh, the amount of times we had to watch that. The Exterminating Angel was another one that was nominated for the Best New Opera Production, which was another opera that I got to see many times at work and didn't really enjoy. Anyway, let's talk about Best Director. So Best Director, the nominees were Sam Mendes for The Ferryman, Dominic Cook for Follies, Marianne Elliott for Angels in America, which I wish I'd got to see, but oh well, Rupert Gould for Ink, and Thomas Cale for Hamilton. Sam Mendes ended up winning for The Ferryman, which again makes me want to see the show even more. I think I talked about this earlier anyway, about how The Ferryman won a few awards, but yeah, as much as I love Hamilton, I feel like I'm happy that something else kind of won for this. Let's talk about some of the other performances of the night now. Now, Sheila Atim from Girl from the North Country performed Tight Connection to My Heart from that show, Girl from the North Country, and it was beautiful. Like, Lord have mercy, I love this girl. I think Sheila is a fantastic performer. I'm so glad that I've discovered her now. Again, I have a full vlog from when I went to see Girl from the North Country. If you want to see my full thoughts on the show and Sheila and everyone, go and check out the vlog. But for me, Sheila Atim was probably the highlight of the show, or one of the highlights anyway. She was one of the best things about the show. She was phenomenal. She like full on gripped me, and seeing her perform again this song at the Oliviers was just beautiful. It reminded me of how fantastic she was, and honestly, like, when she was performing, I was just watching this on a screen in a room, but I was just so mesmerized. Like, you cannot help but firstly get goosebumps because she's got such a beautiful voice, but also the way she performs, like just her soulful voice, just her heart and soul that she puts into the songs, like she is fantastic. For me, that was one of the best performances of the night, along with Hamilton's, and it just made me happy that she got to do this at the Oliviers, and I can't wait to see more of her in the future. Speaking of Sheila Atim, let's talk about Best Actress in a Supporting Role in a Musical. Now, the nominees for this award were Sheila Atim for Girl from the North Country, Tracy Bennett for Follies, Rachel John for Hamilton and Leslie Joseph for Young Frankenstein. Now firstly, I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on this particular award. My first problem is with Leslie Joseph being nominated. Not that I have anything against her. I've seen her in the Young Frankenstein twice and she's good. She's a good performer, she's good in the show, but she really isn't a standout in any way in my opinion. She's just good, like she's good, but nothing special enough for them to have considered her for a nominee for this award. I will tell you who I thought should have been here instead of Leslie, and I hope you realise that I'm not biased at all when I say this. Maybe a little bit, because yes, obviously I've loved this person as a performer for a long time, but Diane Pilkington is a performer in the same show as Leslie Joseph. She plays Frankenstein's fiancée, and she's not the biggest part in the show, obviously. That's why I think she'd be great for Best Actress in a Supporting Role, because what she does in that show is phenomenal. She is by far the highlight of Young Frankenstein in my opinion. She is hilarious, her character, her role is great. She has a couple of brilliant songs in the show and she performs them so well. Like, she puts so much uniqueness and hilarity and comedy into her part and the songs that I'm really sad that it's been overlooked, because genuinely I feel like what she brings to Young Frankenstein is a lot more worthy of being recognised than what Leslie Joseph brings to it. So I just really think it should have been Diane Pilkington here as the fourth nominee rather than Leslie Joseph. Having said that, it's a very strong category generally. I mean, Rachel John from Hamilton, she's probably my favourite thing about Hamilton. Angelica Schuyler is fantastic and Rachel John plays her so well. I definitely prefer her to Rachel Angot. No offence to Rachel Angot, but a lot of people apparently were quite sad that Rachel Angot didn't get nominated for this category, but I personally understand that, because I mean, I've only seen Hamilton once, but on the night that I saw it, I didn't think Rachel Angot was that special. She wasn't bad, she wasn't awful or anything, she was just good. She wasn't memorable or amazing, whereas Rachel John for me completely stood out, and I'm very happy that she's in this category. And then we've got Tracy Bennett for Follies, who is a fantastic performer, and I saw Follies again last year at the National. Absolutely love Tracy Bennett. I think she's a great performer and she was great in Follies as well. And of course we've also got Sheila Atim from Girl from the North Country. You guys already know how I feel about her performance in Girl from the North Country. I thought she was fantastic. So really, three really strong contenders, I'd say: Rachel John, Tracy Bennett and Sheila Atim. Leslie Joseph, we'll just forget about her. I would have been happy for any of those three people to win, but I really low-key wanted Sheila to win, just because I feel like Tracy Bennett's very much a well-known performer now in the West End. A lot of people know her, so her winning wouldn't have made too much of a difference, I guess, to her career or anything. Rachel John would have been great for her to win as well, but like, again, she's quite well established in the musical theatre industry, whereas Sheila Atim, I mean, maybe it's just me, but I'd never heard of her until I saw Girl from the North Country. I think she's quite young still, and her winning I knew would like help her probably quite a bit in her career in the West End, and I'm so happy, guys, because she did end up winning, and this makes me very happy just generally for Sheila, because she's a fantastic performer. And oh my god, her speech as well, she gave a beautiful heartfelt speech. Like, it just made me even more happy, and it made me love her even more just seeing her do that accepting speech when she won it. And it also just makes me happy because I really enjoyed Girl from the North Country. I didn't think it was the best musical I've seen again, but it was a very beautiful and unique show. Like, I loved the music for it, I loved the vibe of it, and I wanted it to at least win a few things that they've been nominated for. I knew it probably wouldn't win Best Musical because, you know, Hamilton and stuff. We'll get to that in a second, but yeah, I was just very happy and I cannot wait to see more of Sheila Atim in the future. Going from Best Actress in a Supporting Role in a Musical to now Best Actor in a Supporting Role in a Musical, the nominees for this award were Michael Gibson for Hamilton, Ross Noble for Young Frankenstein, Jason Pennycook for Hamilton, and Cleve September for Hamilton. I mean, guys, look at this category. 3 out of 4 of the nominees are from Hamilton, which is, again, not a bad thing at all. It just shows how incredible the Hamilton cast is. Now, Ross Noble from Young Frankenstein, I've seen him twice in the show as well. He's no longer in it, and he was really good. I think actually he probably did deserve this nomination, so I don't have any problem with him being there on the list with the other performers from Hamilton. But amongst Michael Gibson, Jason Pennycook and Cleve September, Jason Pennycook was the one that I really wanted to win, because for me anyway, when I saw the show back in January, he was also one of my highlights. He's not the biggest part in the show, obviously that's why he's been nominated in the supporting role in the musical category, but he was just so good with the small parts that he had. He plays Lafayette, if you didn't know, and Thomas Jefferson in the second act, and he's just brilliant. He's funny, he's energetic, he's charismatic, he's just a star, he really is. And so I really wanted to see Jason Pennycook win this one, but Michael Gibson ended up winning instead for his performance as King George in Hamilton. And I mean, that's still great because Michael Gibson as well is fantastic. Honestly, the whole cast of Hamilton is just brilliant. But I just feel like King George's character is such an easily funny comedic character anyway, and Michael Gibson's only on stage, he said it himself in his speech, I think he said about 7 minutes or 7 or 8 minutes of the whole show. He's only on stage for 7 minutes, and that makes it even more incredible, the fact that he's obviously won it. But I don't know, I just feel like his role, the role of King George, isn't as difficult to make stand out or make funny as, for instance, Jason Pennycook's roles that he plays. But I'm still very happy for Michael Gibson, and I loved him in the show when I saw it. I thought he was absolutely hilarious, like, and I don't laugh easily in shows, but he had just the audience laughing every time he came on stage. His facial expressions, his voice, he is fantastic. So very well deserved still. Then let's talk about the Outstanding Achievement in Music Award, and the nominees for this were Hamilton, Everybody's Talking About Jamie, Follies, and Girl from the North Country. Now for me, my two favourites in this category are Hamilton and Girl from the North Country. In terms of music, I really love the songs in Girl from the North Country. And, you know, Hamilton, of course, I love the music for it. It's phenomenal. Everybody's Talking About Jamie has some great songs, but it's not, like, amazing, I don't think. And Follies, obviously, is a classic. Stephen Sondheim, it's great. But I wanted either Hamilton or Girl from the North Country to win. I would have been happy with either of them. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of thought maybe Girl from the North Country would win this, just because it's a little bit more unique than Hamilton. Because of the fact that Girl from the North Country, if you guys didn't know, is basically songs from Bob Dylan, arranged in completely unique and different new ways. And I think that deserves some praise and recognition. Obviously, that's why it's been nominated, whereas Hamilton is completely original. Lin-Manuel Miranda, phenomenal score, and, you know, it won. Hamilton ended up winning this one, and I'm happy for it because, like I said, the score, the songs, the music for Hamilton is excellent. Best musical revival. The nominees for this were Follies, 42nd Street, and On the Town. I've seen all three of these, and I'd probably say my favourite of the three is Follies, and Follies ended up winning, so that's good. Then we go to, this is one of the bigger awards, Best Actor in a Musical. So the nominees for this award were Giles Terera for Hamilton, he plays Aaron Burr, Kieran Hines for Girl from the North Country, John McCrea for Everybody's Talking About Jamie, and Jamal Westman for Hamilton. For me, this was an easy one. I wanted Giles Terera to win. Like I said, I've not seen Jamal in the role of Hamilton in Hamilton because I saw his alternate when I saw the show, so I can't really comment on Jamal, but you know, a lot of my friends have seen him and he is apparently very, very good. However, I was very lucky to see Giles Terera when I saw the show, and like I said, he plays the role of Aaron Burr, and I absolutely loved him, and that's saying a lot because I've listened to the cast recording, the American cast recording of Hamilton, so many times, and Leslie Odom Jr. has one of the most beautiful voices I've ever heard in my life. Like, I absolutely love his version of the Theodosia. It makes me cry every time I listen to it. So having been so used to his songs and his voice and his way of playing Aaron Burr, I was actually really nervous to see someone else play the part. And yet it didn't take Giles Terera more than just a few minutes to make me love his portrayal of Aaron Burr, and I thought it was fantastic. Great voice, great performance, and I really was rooting for him, and I'm so glad that he won. Jamal seemed very happy for him as well, so it's all good. And I'm just, again, Giles Terera gave a very, very beautiful speech as well. So it's funny because when you really want someone to win and then they win it and then they give a speech and that speech makes you love them even more, it just makes you realize that what you wanted, your instinct, what your heart wanted was correct. It almost like justifies it. You're like, I'm glad I wanted this person to win because now they've won it and they've proved to me why they deserved it. The next category is Best Actress in a Musical, and the nominees for this were Shirley Henderson for Girl from the North Country, Janie Dee for Follies, Imelda Staunton for Follies, and Josie Walker for Everybody's Talking About Jamie. Again, four incredibly talented women. It makes me happy that there's been so many fantastic female performers and performances recently, and that they're all being recognised. It just, it touches my heart because I've been lucky to have seen all four of these. I saw Shirley Henderson in Girl from the North Country, Janie Dee I saw in Follies last year and I thought she was fantastic, Imelda Staunton obviously in Follies, phenomenal, and Josie Walker actually was really, really good, and Everybody's Talking About Jamie as well when I saw that. She was probably one of my highlights again as well, one of the best performers, one of the best things about the show. But again, with this one, I'm not gonna lie, as much as I loved Janie Dee, as much as I loved Imelda Staunton in Follies, I low-key really wanted Shirley Henderson to win it, because for me, Shirley Henderson's performance in Girl from the North Country was just something else. Like, you know how sometimes you see these like once-in-a-lifetime performances where you're just absolutely mesmerized and you're like, oh my god, I'm watching something special as you're watching the performance. For me, that's how I felt when I watched Shirley Henderson in Girl from the North Country. She had a monologue in Act 2 which was just beautiful. The way she delivered it was just like, it touched my heart. I was so engrossed by her performance, I couldn't keep my eyes off her, and she did it so well. If you guys don't know, she plays kind of like a mad woman in Girl from the North Country, someone who's got dementia, someone who's struggling with mental health and stuff, and roles like that can often be very easy to do in a very specific and standard way, sometimes to the point where it doesn't even become believable, whereas Shirley Henderson played the part so naturally and subtly, and it just made the audience really feel for her and very much connect with her, and I just thought she was fantastic. So I'm so glad that she won. Bless her, she seemed so happy as well when she won. She didn't think she'd win at all by the looks of it, and her speech was beautiful as well, very heartfelt, very real, genuine it seemed. And if you guys didn't know, Shirley Henderson played Moaning Myrtle in Harry Potter, so that's an amazing thing as well. I've loved her since I was a child without even knowing who she was. But yeah, her win generally made me happy as well, because that's another win for Girl from the North Country, which is a show that I really enjoyed, and it's something that would hopefully mean that the show might have a future again someday, in a touring production somewhere potentially, or maybe back in the West End in the future, who knows. Just the fact that it's been recognised makes me happy. And now, before we get to the final award that I want to talk about, the big one, the Best Musical Award, let's very quickly talk about two other performances that were done at the Oliviers. One of them was the cast of 42nd Street. However, unfortunately, when they were performing, me and my friend Jess had to go and get some food and we went to the toilet, and so unfortunately we missed it. Obviously, I know that I can still watch it again, but I'm sure it was great. I saw bits of it and it was great. I love 42nd Street. I don't think it's, again, one of the best shows I've seen, but when I saw it last year, I think it was, yeah, I saw it around a year ago now, back in, I think it was April time or May of 2017, and I thought it was good. It was good fun. The dancing in it is incredible. There's a tap dance number in Act 2 that I absolutely loved, and the bits that I saw anyway of the performance at the Oliviers, they did a fantastic job. And then the next performance that I also want to talk about is everybody's talking about Jamie's performance with John McCrae and the whole cast, and they performed the main song. I think it's called And They Don't Even Know It or something like that. It's a really good song. It's one of the best songs in the show, and it was great. I enjoyed it. They did a great job. It was great to see John McCrae. He's a great performer at the end of the day, you know. He might not have won for his performance, but he was still nominated for Best Actor in a Musical, and that's amazing, especially considering, I think for him as well, this is one of his first major roles in a major West End show, so that's really good, and he did a great job. And it kind of made me want to see the show again, because I've only seen the show once and I saw it back in the previews. Again, there's a vlog of it if you want to go and watch it, but I might go back at some point because it's a fun show. Everybody's talking about Jamie and I'm glad that they got to perform. But anyway, I think that's more or less it in terms of performances. Of course, there was a performance at the very end as well, and that was Joseph, and they did like a little medley of different songs from Joseph because of Andrew Lloyd-Webber's like 70th situation. I think he turned 70 this year or something like that. And if you guys don't know, Andrew Lloyd-Webber is definitely one of my favourite musical theatre composers. I love his work. I don't think I've ever heard any song by him that I didn't like. There's obviously some that I don't think are as good, but for the most part I just love his music. His scores I think is fantastic. Phantom of the Opera is in my top favourite musicals of all time, and I mean Joseph is a really fun show as well. It's not one of my favourites, but it's got some great songs, and it was really cute that they did this little medley thing. They had 3 different Josephs and 3 different narrators from over the years come and form together. They had Lee Mead and Priya Kalidas, Joe McElderry and Daniel Hope, and Jason Donovan and Lindsay Haley, I believe, or something like that. And it was beautiful. It was a nice way to end the ceremony. As we were watching it live from the Hospital Club in Covent Garden, everyone in the room was just loving it. We were singing along. It was a great atmosphere. It felt really magical. That's how my friend Jess described it, because it's her favourite musical theatre song, I think. And it was just beautiful. It was a really good way to end it, and they all did a great job, so well done. I'm very happy with how that concluded. But before the Oliviers ended, obviously they had the Best Musical Award, and I'm not even going to put much of an emphasis on it because I think all of you guys know what happened. But the Best Musical Award, the nominees for it were Hamilton, An American in Paris, Everybody's Talking About Jamie, Girl from the North Country, and Young Frankenstein. Young Frankenstein's a bit of a weird one. Again, I don't really know why it's been nominated. Like, it's a great show, it's funny, I do enjoy it, but I don't think it's good enough to be in this category. But I'm still happy that, again, it got represented a little bit, just because I love Diane Pilkington. I think she's fantastic in it. Anyway, Hamilton obviously ended up winning Best Musical, and Lord have mercy, you should have been in that room when it got announced that they won Best Musical, because people were screaming, everyone was so happy, and I just love that kind of stuff. I mean, I know that Hamilton is very much overhyped and it's getting a lot of attention anyway, but it deserves it. Trust me guys, it genuinely does deserve it. I don't say that about every hyped up show, but Hamilton honestly is just fantastic, and it very much deserves the Best Musical title as well at the Oliviers, and I'm very, very happy that it won. So there you go, that is the conclusion to my Olivier Awards 2018 opinions. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please leave comments down below, let me know what you thought of the ceremony, if you guys were happy with the winners and the nominees, what you would change. I mean, personally, like I said, for me, Diane Pilkington not being nominated was one of my biggest issues with this year's ceremony, but for the most part I'm very happy with how things turned out. My 3 favourite wins personally are Sheila Atim winning for Girl from the North Country, Shirley Henderson winning for Girl from the in the country, and Giles Terera winning for Hamilton. For me, these three people winning made me the happiest, I feel like, especially because all of their speeches as well, the three of them, were so wonderful and genuine and really touched my heart. And I just think all three of them are very well deserving winners. So yeah, like I said, leave comments down below, let me know what made you the happiest at the Oliviers, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.